you do not have to stay bad at a game. Like you don't. And that's just like a general thing. Like just keep going. Make sure that it's something that you want to do and you're doing it for you, and just don't let other people influence what it is that you're gonna do.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 8 of the Team Reinvented Gaming podcast. I am here with content creator Dissident. What's up, Dissident?
Hey Jones, hey guys, everybody that's watching. I'm glad to be here. Really excited to be on this podcast. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man, I'm very happy that you're here. So, you're a content creator for Valorant on YouTube, and Valorant hasn't been around for that long. About a year and a half, maybe, right? And
Yeah, it's coming up on its 1 year mark soon.
on this 1 year mark.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Oh
Actually,
yeah,
let me
you're
look
right.
it up.
April. Oh
Look it up
my,
right now.
damn! It
Yeah,
seems
it's
like it's
coming
been
up on
around.
its. I know it feels like forever.
It does. Yeah, it came out in April of last year. Yeah, but you've been doing that for about a year. So how did you get started? How did content creation look for you? How was your content creation before Valorant came along, and how did you get into doing content for Valorant?
So content creation before Valorant came along wasn't that. No, I don't want to say that great, but it definitely wasn't as in depth as it is for Valorant. I played Siege on console, and I really enjoyed playing Siege. And I was like, hey, I'm gonna make some montages of me playing Siege, and I posted that on YouTube. That those videos were very cringe. I'm still kind of proud of them because I put a lot of work into it.
Yeah,
It was still really cringe, and then I tried like an art channel because I like to draw and paint. But I wasn't too into the speed painting and stuff. Even though I enjoyed painting and stuff, painting myself, I didn't enjoy filming it and editing it into videos. And because I wasn't really getting any followers, I just wasn't that into it. But then Valorant came along, and I genuinely started creating content for it, not necessarily with the purpose of like gaining followers, but just because it was actually like just really fun to like. It was more of a for me, so I could look back onto like my own old videos and just be like, hey, like this is where I started and this is where I'm at now, and that kind of like caught on with the most recent series, or actually the only series I'm really doing, Road to Radiant, and where like a lot of people are actually really enjoying it. So like something that I actually didn't really expect, or like, well, yeah, something I didn't expect to catch people attention, ended up doing it when it was the original purpose of it was just for me to document my own journey.
yeah. Oh, nice. Um, yeah. I mean, I think it caught attention because one, Valorant's very new, right? It's not a saturated game. So when you started doing the Voted Radiant series, um, and I know I talked to you about this, a year ago, right? When we were like before you started doing this, we were going through ideas and stuff like that. But yeah, it's not saturated, and you had no competition when you started. I'm pretty sure now there's tons of people who did it,
Oh
right?
yeah, now
But
there's so many people.
exactly, but the fact you started when there was no competition, and you haven't hit Radiant yet, but that's even kind of better that you didn't hit Radiant yet because now you're showing the actual full progress of going through that. Because I know you just hit Plateau pretty recently and everything like that, right?
Yeah,
So
I just hit plateau.
exactly, so I think the timing and the type of creation, the type of content that you're creating, is gonna work in your favor heavily. So we'll see. We'll see. All you have to do now is just hit Radiant, and then you completed it. And then after that, I don't know. I don't know what comes after you hit Radiant. I don't know.
Well,
Road to Bronze. I don't
after
know.
I hit Radiant, it'll probably end up being Road to number one NA.
Oh
Uh,
snap!
because Radiant's only top 500, right? Not the best in the
You're
region
right.
yet. And then after that, it'll be probably be Road to Pro because at that point, if I hit Radiant and then I hit top one or number one player in the region,
Hmm.
um, definitely at that point I'll probably start looking at like going pro, maybe getting signed
Yeah,
by,
I know it work.
um, yeah, but hopefully getting signed by like a by an Oregon playing professionally,
Hmm.
which was like my all-time
Yeah,
ultimate dream to do.
yeah. I mean, you don't even have to hit Radiant to play professionally. I mean, obviously, I know you know that, right? But
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Immortal is what you have to hit, but why settle for Immortal when I can go for
Exactly.
Radiant?
And when you're number one Radiant, just hashtag Team RBTG, just like I say. No, but
I
no,
won't forget you guys.
that's legit, bro. That's legit. Um, so did you create your video for Plat 2 yet? Or what's the next
Um,
piece of content coming up?
so the next piece of content that I've got coming out is coming out. It actually probably be out by the time this episode of the podcast get released because it's coming out Sunday, April 11th, and it's actually gonna be me talking about the Agent Sky. and why I feel that she's extremely underrated. For those of you who don't know, Sky is a character in Valorant that is meant to initiate the initial push. So like, she is there to support whoever it is that's entering the first person that's going to be on site. And something that I noticed is that the pick rate for that character is incredibly low for ranked play in general, and it's non-existent for North American professional play. She has a zero
Mm.
percent pick rate. Um, and I personally just feel like she's a really, really strong character and deserves a lot more play. Uh, because in my opinion, she's borderline broken.
Okay.
Um, and what's really nice is I had made a video of pretty much why a character was underrated, before, and then after that video, now that character is like, it wasn't because of the video, but like I predicted it. Now that character is huge in the meta. So those of you who don't know, that character I'm specifically talking about is Breach. Um, like many months ago, even before he got his buff, I thought Breach was broken, and I did a video on it. And now he's dominating ranked meta, pro meta. Like he's just like the meta. Um,
Okay.
and so like Sky is my next prediction on that, on like the next game breaking character that people are just sleeping on right
Nice. All right. Dope. I won't be watching that probably because I don't play Valorant. No, I'm joking. I'm
now.
joking. No, but I try to play Sky, and I just blind my teammates. You obviously know this. So, um, yeah, I should probably watch that video. But dope, dope. So let's talk about the elephant in the room. So you are in the military, right? Currently in the Marine
Yes,
Corps.
yes, I am.
I myself was in the Marine Corps. We actually did do the same job. Um,
Yeah, that was how
so
we met.
yeah, that's how we met. What is so how do you balance out the military lifestyle of Monday through Friday 6 a.m. to God knows when, um, and playing Valorant, playing at a high enough level, but also balancing out your other responsibilities that you have to do with the military. Like, how do you balance that out? When do you find time, and what does that look like?
Man, it is not easy. There's definitely like your pillars of life that you have to like look at. You got to take care of you got to take care of yourself mentally, physically, and emotionally. But when it comes like down to like just doing things that you're passionate at, sacrifices have to be made, like some way, shape, or form. Whether you sacrifice your social life, which is honestly what I did. I don't really go out too much. I don't really talk to friends or family too often. Now, it's not because I don't love them, because I do. But they also understand that I am trying to do my own thing. So pretty much all of my off time is dedicated to getting better at Valorant, whether that be me getting coaching sessions, whether that's my own, me just self-analyzing my VODs, or me making content for it. And like that's like all my spare time. So like pretty much Monday through Friday, I wake up, go to work, from 06 until typically around 16, 17 in the afternoon. Um, and then after that, I go eat, and then I once I come back, you know, shower, change over, just get my comfy clothes, and then I hop on and I start playing video games for the next couple hours. But like that's my daily thing, and then on the weekends, literally I wake up whenever it is I wake up, I warm up, I play, and then I go to bed, and like that's all I do on the weekends. So when it comes to like people just being like, hey, let's go do this, it's 9 times out of 10 I'm like, nah, I'm playing Valorant.
I gotta hit plat 3 tonight, guys.
Yeah, like I'm trying to hit plat 3 tonight, and everyone there, you've got like the friends that like support it, and you've got like the people that look at you like you're kind of whack.
Mm,
But like the friends that support it are like my like real friends
yeah,
that like, hey, like this is your dream, and granted you're chasing it instead of hanging out with us, like you're still chasing your dream. They're there to
yeah,
support it. The people that don't support it are just kind of like, nah, like, you
exactly.
know.
Yeah, yeah, I understand, and that's what it comes down to. Like, I like how obsessed you are with becoming great at your craft, right? I'm definitely like that. I know I made a video about doors and stuff, a couple of days ago on the YouTube channel.
Hmm.
But, um, yeah, man, that's what it takes. You really have to be like, this is what I'm going to do, and there is no other option. Like,
Yeah,
that's
like,
literally what you have to do. Like, either do this or you die. Like, this ain't no,
yeah,
like, for
it's
real.
do this or you die, and like, and like, granted, obviously, I'm not putting every single egg into this one basket, but I'm definitely putting a lot of them into this
Yeah.
basket. Like, it's like there is nothing more that like I like what I think, breathe, eat, sleep, Valorant.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I'm doing. I'm constantly watching like YouTube tutorials. I'm getting coaching
Mm-hmm.
sessions. I'm like analyzing my own things. I spent hours upon hours in aim labs and in the range just to perfect my mechanics, just to get like even more solid, and it's shown like dividends because I started out at the rank of bronze two.
Mm-hmm.
Um, in when I first moved back from Okinawa to the States, um, started out bronze two, which if I remember correctly, my numbers might be off, but I'm pretty sure that's like bottom 40% of the player base right
Mm-hmm.
now, where like silver one is like where your average player sits at. So like I was sitting below average.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and 6 months later, I just hit plat two, and I'm securely in plat two. Um, I'm about halfway. Uh, blah. I'm about halfway to plat three at the moment, with sitting at 50 RR and you need 100 uh until you rank up. So I'm sitting at plat two, and to put that into reference, plat two is the top 8.4% of players in the region.
Yeah.
So for me, I went from bottom 40% below average
Mm-hmm.
to the top 8.4% of players in the region in
In
the
the back.
course of 6 months.
Yeah, 6 months. Just eat, sleep, Valorant. That's a new motto. Eat, sleep, Valorant. That might be the
eat,
thumbnail to this video. We'll find
eat,
out. We
literally
yeah,
just
it might
eat,
be.
breathe, sleep, Valorant.
Like
Like that's it.
that's legit, man. That's legit. So you're on YouTube now. Can I expect any Twitch streaming in the future?
Yes, I actually just set up my OBS. There's still a couple of kinks with the widgets that I'm working out with when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to like the countdown on my starting student screen, trying to get that to work properly, and like a couple of other trackers that I've got going up there. But
Mm-hmm.
besides that, yes, I am currently working on setting up my OBS properly so that I have my scenes functioning perfectly. I just play tested it a little bit today. My frames, granted, I get less frames when I'm streaming, but it's not like significantly noticeable in my gameplay. So I should, in the near future, start streaming. I'm trying to have my first stream be this upcoming Wednesday. Let me look at what date that
Yeah, it's
is.
like the 13th or something like that.
I think it's the 13th. No, no, no.
Oh
It's the
no,
14th.
14th.
It's the
Yeah.
14th.
Okay.
Yeah, so Wednesday, April 14th should be my first stream
Let's
at
go.
6 p.m. Pacific time. If I don't have any technical difficulties by then,
Nice. Yeah, that
which
should
I
be.
shouldn't.
I'll be interested to see how that does for you. I assume some of your YouTube fan base will probably gravitate towards Twitch as well. Two different entities, YouTube and Twitch, but
Yeah, two different
people
entities.
watch both, so that's the thing.
Yeah.
And I was even looking. So Valorant is like, I think Valorant's at a good mix right now. It's not too saturated, but it's not too dry. Like if you actually go on Twitch, yeah,
Yeah.
there's thousands and thousands of people watching, right? But it's like it's really not as saturated as other games. Like because a lot of people have like thousands of viewers and other people have like hundreds, so it's like there's some disparity between the people and
Yeah.
everything. So
Yeah, definitely.
I think you do good on Twitch. It's about time, but no,
Yeah,
that's
it's been
legit.
a while. I just hit my most recent milestone on YouTube of I think I just hit 150 subs. Oh, 151
Okay.
is what I'm sitting at right now. Which I am super excited and super grateful for that. I genuinely didn't think anybody was really gonna want to watch the Road to Radiant series I've got going, but every time I post a video, more and more people come and watch, more and more people like, more and more people sub, and I'm really grateful for that. It gives me motivation every
Yeah.
single time that like I post a new video to see that people are enjoying it.
Yeah, that's great, man. That's great. Only a year out too, so like Valorant's gonna be around for at least a decade. This whole the 20s, the Roaring 20s, it's gonna be filled with Valorant. So
Hmm.
um, you're definitely in the right direction. So that's legit. What what advice would you give somebody who just started playing Valorant yesterday and sees these content creators like I want to do that, right? I want to be like that. What advice would you give? What advice would you give like somebody like yourself a year ago?
So the advice that I'd probably give somebody like myself a year ago, um, is definitely don't let anybody else's opinions or even just negative comments, um, be that people that you know in person or be that people over the internet, like slow you down. I definitely stopped content creation for like 6 months, for a couple of reasons. But definitely one of the reasons was because of lack of motivation, because of I never really experienced negativity over the internet before, and so like there's a little bit of it, and I initially I didn't like it, but then I kind of got over it. Um, and another thing is definitely like don't stop your own grind. Like if you want to be good at the game, like there's nothing stopping you from being good at the game, which is in essence the entire point of me making that Road to Radiant series, because like it's really just showing like, hey, if I can go from bronze 2 to Radiant, or even right now from bronze 2 to plat 2 in whatever span, because some people can do it faster than others. Everybody has their own pace, which is okay. Like anyone can. Like literally, and you do not have to stay bad at a game. Like you don't. And that's just like a general thing. Like just keep going. Make sure that it's something that you want to do and you're doing it for you, and just don't let other people influence what it is that you're gonna do.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, can't really say anything else about that. Pretty straightforward. So, I'm trying to think. Do I want to? I asked this. So, what are your current? I was gonna ask what your current thoughts on the Valorant Pro League scene are, but I want to narrow that question down. Do you think Valorant should have a preseason? A
A
dedicated,
preseason.
yeah,
Um.
like similar like
I,
football or like,
yeah, yeah. That's actually a really good question. I think a preseason would be healthy for the game. Personally. Just cause like I Valorant has a massive viewership for its pro league,
mm,
whether that be EU, NA, or in or in Korea. I think it's I don't watch any of the Asian games or the pro that scenes that take place in Southeast Asia and Korea. Not because like I don't like it, just because like the time for me, I don't get like make time to watch Korea, even though I keep track with like what teams are winning and stuff, especially because the international tournaments are coming up. But definitely a preseason where everybody's like doing their workups and like still going with it. I feel like that'd be really healthy, and I feel like there's definitely an audience that would love to watch that.
okay, yeah. I think there has to be a point in time where esports starts mimicking traditional sports because the thing about traditional sports is that they developed a system that works. So if you just take some of the systems already in place and just bring them to the electronic sports world, I think it'd be very good. And also, the thing I like about esports is that it's not you don't need a lot of land, right? Just in economics, it's five factors of production, right? And one of them's land. You don't need land to do esports. Obviously, you can have land events, but you don't need like a you technically you don't need like an office building. You could do it from home. Like,
Yeah.
you can compete at a professional level from home. We did it in 2020. So um, yeah, I hope that esports in the future will start mimicking some things that we know of from traditional sports. And Cough Cough Team Reinvented Gaming is trying to do some crazy
You guys on
things
the come up.
on the come up now. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I think Valorant have a preseason maybe. I don't know, but I think it would be good. Why not? I think having a preseason wouldn't hurt the game at all. I don't think it wouldn't even hurt any games. It's just a preseason if done correctly. Would be in good light.
Yeah,
So.
I think it's definitely definitely something food for thought that may happen in the future.
Hmm.
Especially if like organizers for like the pro scene end up like seeing like, hey, like maybe this works. Definitely it's gonna bring up it definitely the right person needs to bring up that kind of topic of to like for to see any kind of
Yeah,
progress.
I agree. So I know I asked you this before. Where does Dissident come from? Like, how'd you get your name?
So I don't know if you remember this. You're actually part of the transition into my name, Dissident.
Yeah, I do
So
remember.
so my tag used to be Maverick God, 1999. And that was because in high school, my favorite word, uh which I learned this in my SAT prep class in 11th grade, was Maverick. And that's because the word Maverick means in a sense an individual person that kind of lives to the beat of their own drum. They don't really care about like what society has to say about one's own behaviors. They just kind of like do their own thing, and they're content with it because that's what they're doing. and I resonated with that so much when I was in
Mm-hmm.
high school. And so the obviously like just super basic username on like console, or even like now if you try type in like Maverick for like username, like somebody's already taken it. Because it's just such a simple name. So I was like, well, I'm super confident myself, so I'm gonna add God. And then I was like, I'm gonna throw some numbers up there because that was also taken, and I just put my birth year, which is 1999, on it. And then when I started playing Siege with you guys, um, it got confusing if we had like a teammate that played the character Maverick, and then there was like me just on a different character whose name wasn't Maverick, and because sometimes we would call out to each other by our character names, and other times we would call out to each other by our usernames. And so like if somebody said like, "Hey, Maverick did to your right," and me and the other and whoever was playing the character Maverick were still like alive, we would get hella confused. So you guys asked if I could change my username, and so I looked up synonyms for the word Maverick, and Dissident came up, and so Dissident became my new gamer tag.
Yeah, and it wasn't taken, so that's good.
No, it wasn't
Yeah.
taken, like which is wild. Like
Nice.
nobody took Dissident.
That's legit. Well, I'm glad I can. I'm glad I pressured you into changing your name. So that's good. So you were on console before you started playing PC.
Yes.
So how was that transition?
Uh, hard. Like
Yeah.
it was a really difficult transition. I feel like console players definitely, or console players that haven't played on PC, definitely don't understand how hard it is to be playing on mouse and keyboard. And specifically when it comes like talk of like cross-platform, where console players are like, I don't want to play against PC players because they have mouse and keyboard and it's superior. And you're right, mouse and keyboard definitely your precision, your accuracy, and your speed are like significantly higher on mouse and keyboard. However, um it's hard to be really good at mouse and keyboard as well. And that's when a lot of my friends and stuff that like specifically talk to me about it. I pretty much explain it to them in the sense of skill floor versus skill ceiling,
Mm-hmm.
because there's a lot smaller of a skill disparity between somebody who's just starting out on controller and somebody who's been playing on controller for X amount of years, where you get it to a certain point in controller where you really can't get much better. And where like everybody's kind of like at the same tier of skill on the controller, but at the same token, you can only be so bad on a controller as well, especially with things like aim assist helping out. So
Mm-hmm.
like your window for skill disparity is very, very small. But when you switch over to mouse and keyboard, you can be absolutely terrible on mouse and keyboard, where it's where you can't hit anything and you will get owned by somebody who's on a controller who's just better, especially if it's like you're just starting out on mouse and keyboard. And the thing is the skill floor is much lower on mouse and keyboard, where somebody just picking up a controller versus somebody just picking up a mouse and keyboard, you're more likely than not that controller player will be much better than that brand new mouse and keyboard player. However, you add a couple of years, um, eventually that mouse and keyboard player will not only surpass the controller player who has also been playing on controller for an X number of years. They will get to a point where the controller player can't do anything against them, and that's just because the skill disparity is much greater. Um, and for those of you who don't like use any aim shaders and anything, you won't be able to relate to this next part, and I am a little sorry for that. But if you all look at like aim labs, and you can see like professionals do, like, let's say you're like basic grid shot, that's like the fan favorite exercise of aim labs. You can have like a brand new player, for example, like me when I first started aim training on grid shot, I'd get like an average score of like 40,000, which is really low. And then you look at a professional that's got like let's take C910s, be very specific, who's got like a high score of over 130,000. Like, so he's on like the high end, and I'm at the like low end. And a couple months later, of me practicing, my high score is now exactly 100,000. Um, which it's just so much skill difference and improvement that can happen on mouse and keyboard versus that controller, which is just it was like a punch in the face when
Mm-hmm.
transitioning from console to PC, because like it was genuinely something I'd never experienced before, especially since like me being the new PC player at the time. was going up against people that been playing PC for years, and it was definitely really abrasive, and it was part of the skill curve of just getting used to PC. Where I feel like a lot of people when they transition and they get hit with that massive skill curve, they don't want to deal with it because they're getting destroyed by people who've been playing PC for years, and they're like, I can't hit anything, but they're hitting everything. Oh, they're cheating when that's not the case. Like they're just better.
Yeah. Yeah. Once again, it comes down to putting that work in every day. Because I'm assuming aim lab is probably not the funnest thing to do, you know. And
No,
I don't
aim
know how long
labs.
your playlist is and everything like that. So
Yeah, aim labs definitely isn't fun. Like listening to music while doing aim labs makes it more enjoyable because
mm,
like music aspect. But like yeah, when I start my warm up until when I finish, it takes me anywhere between 30 minutes to 45 minutes to complete. And that's even before I hop into the range on Valorant into my Valorant exercises to get my crosshair placement and like movement mechanics on point before I even start playing. So like before I even start playing, I'm warming up for a solid hour to an hour and a half before I even load into my very first competitive
dang,
match.
hour and a half. Yeah, that's like aim training is probably like how like a runner or a track and field does like stretches. You know, like
Yeah,
you
like
have to do that stuff. Like
you
I aim
have to.
train. Like I'm not a professional player at all, but you know, like I think stuff like that is so. I
The
don't want to say overlooked because people know to do it, but I think some people would just underestimate the actual training of that
mhm.
because it's a muscle that you have to build. Then to get stronger.
Yeah, like it builds muscle memory. It builds it well because like there's definitely I've cycled through groups of players with Valorant where like when I was playing in bronze, there was a group of bronze players that I ended up playing with because like they were like, "Hey, like you're pretty good," and I was like, "Hey, you guys are pretty good too." And then we got the silver together, but they got to a point where they stagnated, and they kind of stayed at silver. And I started like pushing like a rank, two ranks above them, and then I found another group that was in silver that I felt was pretty good, and then I played with that group for a little bit. We got into gold, and then I started pulling away from them a little bit. I started hitting a rank higher, two higher, and then when I started getting close to plat, the same thing happened. There's a couple more people that like were just better than the people I was playing with, and now I push into plat. Now, majority of those like single pushes from that group away come from me solo queuing when they're not available.
Mm-hmm.
But like those players that like I left back in silver are still in silver to this day. And granted, I still talk to them every once in a while, and they do something that I don't, which is blame their teammate. They are constantly blaming their teammate.
You blame somebody
We get
else.
yeah, they're like, my teammates are bad. They're like, we're playing against Smurfs, like yada yada yada. And I'm like, I went through that same thing. I had bad teammates too. I played against Smurfs as well. And you know what the difference maker was? It was me. When I was in those clutch situations, I clutched up. And it really comes to like I've played with them and I like explained to them like you guys have to like aim train. Like you have to. And
Yeah.
granted, like there's other problems that you have at that rank besides your aim, but your aim is definitely part of the problem. And you can work on one problem at a time. You can fix your aim, and then you can fix your game sense, or you can fix your game sense and then fix your aim. But like it comes in time, and those players that I used to play with that I don't play with anymore because I can't play with them, um, it really came down to the amount of hours put
Mm-hmm.
in just practice alone because they have more game time hours than me.
But
They
the
have much more game time hours than me, but they don't have nearly half as much practice time as I
yeah,
have.
like behind the scenes of actually analyzing the game, training your aim, all that stuff
Hmm.
comes down to investing in yourself.
Yeah, it really
Especially
does
yeah, investing in
because
yourself.
I'm a strong believer that a lot of practice, not even a lot of practice, perfect practice prevents perfect it's my four P's. Perfect practice prevents poor performance. That's five P's.
Yeah.
But like that's what I personally believe is perfect practice prevents poor performance. And when you take that concept and you're constantly practicing in properly practicing, you will get better. And that comes down to hard work will beat talent eventually. Because if you have talent and no hard work, eventually that person that has hard work and no talent will beat you. The best players in the world are the players that have talent and work hard. And granted, I am not naturally gifted at all when it comes to mechanics on PC. There are players who are naturally gifted, and it's really hard catching up to those players that are naturally gifted. But like, it's possible, especially if they're not putting in their after hours work. If
Mm-hmm.
you're that player that works hard every single day, eventually you will get better. And the first step to getting better, genuinely, is looking at yourself and saying, "What am I doing wrong?" And when a teammate fucks up, the question you shouldn't be, "Oh, he fucked up." It should be, "What could I have done better to keep him from being in that position?"
Mm-hmm.
Because at some point you dry peaked something you shouldn't have dry peaked. You you just did
Yeah.
something. You stayed in a pocket. You stayed in a little corner that you shouldn't have stayed in. Like it happens. Every death that happens to you was a mistake in some way, shape, or form that you could have prevented. You could have prevented with different positioning. You could have prevented by not peeking. You could have prevented by asking for a smoke. Like you could have prevented it in some way, shape, or form. And when it comes down to recognizing how to prevent those little mistakes on your end, the less mistakes you make, the less opportunity it has for your teammates to be in a position to make a mistake. So if you yourself stop yourself from making mistakes, you will prevent situations for your teammates to make mistakes,
Mm-hmm.
therefore keeping them from making mistakes, and then less mistakes are made overall, which ends up winning you
Yeah.
matches.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah. I totally agree. Um, I think the more people that have that mentality, the less toxic games will be. But also, um,
Oh yeah,
no,
definitely less toxic matches would be, but
yeah,
that's the thing. Is nobody wants to look at themselves and be like, I'm the problem.
exactly.
Nobody wants to do that. And like that's really how you get better is
Yeah,
you recognize you are the problem, you're doing something wrong. Like the
yeah.
ranking system in Valorant is definitely difficult to work with. However, you are the rank you are because you are the rank you
Boom. There it is. That's going on the back of a bumper sticker. You're the rank you are because you
are.
are the rank you are. No, that's legit. That's great. So we're closing up here right now. You know, I got two more questions. One is, where can people find you? Do you want to learn more about you? You know, learn about Valorant,
So
etc.
the easiest ways to find me are on YouTube. I post every Sunday at 6 o'clock, or well, not 6 o'clock. Well, yes, 6 o'clock, but Pacific time, 9 o'clock Eastern time. Um, so I respond to like every comment that goes under my YouTube videos as of right now because not a whole lot of people comment, but when people do comment, I definitely interact with them. You can find me on Instagram, just literally at dissident underscore TTV. Find me at Twitch, same thing, dissident underscore TTV. Especially for my Twitch stream coming up this upcoming Wednesday. It'll probably this will probably be posted well after my first stream, but it's still there. You guys come hang out there, and then I'm also starting a TikTok, and so if you do like TikTok and you want to follow me on TikTok, you can follow me at the Gamer Dissident. Um, literally no caps, no spaces, just the Gamer Dissident, proper spelling.
Very well. There it is. And I probably already know the question. I probably already know the answer to this. But what's the impact you want to have in your craft? So at the end of the day, you're 50 years old. You know, Valorant is on season 78, and um, you know, you're there. You like have like your jet charm in your hand or something. I don't know. And you're looking back and like, Dad, what's Valorant? And or what did you do in Valorant? Like, what do you want to say?
I there's two parts to that. So the first part is I want to be able to say that at one point I played amongst the best players in the world. Um,
Okay.
just getting your name down in like history, whether that's even esports history in general, like just getting your name down in history has just always been like something that I've wanted to do,
Okay.
where you can look back and like say like Dissident and people know
Yeah.
like Dissident was this player. I want my name to resonate like when you say Hiko or Sinatra, or I mean he's not the best example right now. Subrosa, Tens. Like when you say their name, you know who they are.
Yeah.
Um, I want that,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time, when it comes to that's like my esports goal.
All right.
When it comes to my content creation goal, I just want to foster a community where everybody works together to get better at something that they love. Because
Mm,
I love Valorant, and I know that the people who watch my content also love Valorant, and I'm I'm incredibly grateful that there as many as them as there are right now that are along on this journey with me, and I want every single one of them to look at the mistakes that I'm making and to look at what it is that I'm doing to get better at the game and emulate it themselves so that they can also get better at the
yeah.
game. I want that person that was bronze 2 that watched my first video of me at bronze 2 to work just as hard as I did
Mm,
and watch my content and use my content for motivation so that one day they're not bronze 2, one day they're plat 2, and then they're diamond, and then
yeah.
they're radiant, and they could be like, I got to radiant with a dissident. And
Boom.
like if that literally ever happens, like I couldn't have asked for anything more.
Very well. Well, that will happen one day. One day. One of you, audience viewers, it's gonna be you guys. But all right, I think that wraps it up. Tim, or Dissident, Tim's your actual name, but thank you for being on the show. I learned a lot. I see you working every day, and you always be like, Jones, want to see this clip? Jones, want to see this clip? I can't always watch it. I am busy sometimes, like doing org stuff. I'm like, I can't really take a break. But no, that's great. I can't wait to see what you accomplish next, man. So, with that, guys, that's it. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next podcast episode. See you later. Peace.
Later.